Hey, this is Rich over here at TVP Live in Orange County, California, and today's quick tutorial for Photoshop Elements is going to be for this picture. The original poster asked if they could make this picture into a nighttime scene. So let's dive right in. So we got a single layer of this picture, and we also grabbed a layer from the internet of some nighttime stars. I wanted to have a little bit of a glow so that in case it shows that you can still see some city glow in the lighting below, lower towards the bottom. First of all, let's take a look at this picture. It looks pretty good. Everything looks fine, except for, in my opinion, this pole. It does not seem to fit in with everything else. So as we take the sky out, I think I'd like to take the pole out too. I'm going to go ahead and use the magic marker, magic eraser, whatever, the magic tool, to get rid of most of the blue. I look and see and make sure everything is sharp edges. It looks pretty good. So I'm going to choose a tolerance of, I don't know, let's say 25%. Let's try that and see how it looks. Depending on how harsh the edges are, or if it's too soft, it's going to cut into some of the detail. So we want to zoom in, make sure it's not cutting too much detail. Like, see, it's cutting some of the glass here. Let's give it a try and see. We'll hit the delete button, and I'm going to get rid of that line. And what's happening is, you see that blue edge along everything? That's not good. It's going to show up when we put a black background or a dark background. And just to give you an example, and put that behind, and you see these lines here that are light along the edges? That's not good. So let's go ahead and undo. We're going to erase the whole thing by hand. I will start here. I click it, and then I hold shift and click above here, and see I get exactly the part of the pole that I really want to get, and it doesn't leave any lighting from the original pole that would show through this way. This I can just draw by hand. I want to cut into the actual object a little bit. Don't think of it as object, just think of it as difference in colors. And it's okay to cut into the object. It's really not cheating, because what's there or what's missing in the end doesn't matter if the audience doesn't know what it looked like to begin with. So you see how nice this is? There's no weird jagged edges that the magic brush does. And this is basically what we're going to do throughout the whole picture. Okay, so I'm back now, and I've traced the whole edge of the sky up there. I'll do this afterwards. And now I'm going to cut out the sky. And since what you see is black is not black, it's what the see-through from the background. You see, so I turn it off, turn it on. I leave that on so that when I cut it out, it is easier to cut out. So I'll just start arbitrarily here and cut out through the middle between the original photo and the part that I wanted to cut out. And as long as I put this line smack in the middle, everything should be fine. And now I'm going to hit the delete button, and that deletes the whole background. Just see this little tiny piece of brightness? That's going to show up as being fake. So I have to look around and get rid of things like this. Like that piece of glass shouldn't show. This edge here should not be as bright as it is, because if it's nighttime, everything's going to be dark. This is a little bit too bright here. So we're going to get rid of anything that can show up as being as fake. Now I'm going to zoom in and get these here. I could use the magic tool again, but as you can see, the picture was not taken with a high resolution camera, and if I zoom in, you see these edges are really muddled. The magic tool will not cut out properly, so we're going to do the same. And we could use a polygon But the problem is that the edges are going to be too sharp and it will scream fake. So we're going to do this again and do lines of erasing. And the black you see once again is from the background. Then nothing's missing. Now we're going to cut out these little areas. Always consider that nighttime is bluer than daytime, because the nighttime moon is reflecting the sun's rays off the moon, which is actually pure white, which is actually blue-ish, not reddish. The only reason we see and perceive red is because the haze of the earth from smog is what we're looking through when we see a sunset, especially in the afternoon or evening, because we're looking at all the layers of haze sideways through the earth, above the earth. So now we have the whole picture and the whole sky is taken out. And let's go ahead and first replace the background, the black background, with our stars. This was just a picture I grabbed on the internet. It's obviously going to be probably the wrong tone color-wise, but we can at least have some place to start. Now let's play with this background that we have. I'm going to first go with lighting and brightness contrast and play with that till it looks really natural. Let's try the contrast. We don't want to do too much contrast, because if it was really there, it really would be kind of hazy. So let's bring the contrast down and then bring the lighting down. And that gives us a night haziness. Because if it's too harsh like this, then it looks kind of fake. So let's bring the brightness down. Gosh, almost all the way. I kind of like it right around there. And then play around with the contrast until it looks natural. Okay, right around there seems to be a natural place. This pole is already kind of bluish, so that's what we're trying to turn this whole tone into, is the bluish. So let's cut the pole off and get rid of it. See how kind of bluish it is? That's more in the right tones of what the nighttime should be. So I'm going to cut the pole off by using the polygon tool, and I'll right click and hit cut. So now we have the light pole in its own layer. I can toggle it on and off, and that's easy to do. So I'm not going to worry about that for now. I want to get the color of this a little more in the blue tones, and this is the walls. So let's go into enhance, lighting, brightness, contrast. First we'll play around with the contrast and the lighting, and it should be a little darker. And maybe when I do less contrast, it shows a little more highlights on the edge, which moonlight probably would do, is give us more of a contrast like that. So as before, which is unnatural looking because it's more like sun daylight, and then nighttime like this. I kind of like it. Maybe just add a little bit back. And let's go with that. Now the whole tone of the scene. So we're going to go to adjust the color. We want to add blues, but I think it's just going to add it to, well, actually that's not bad. It adds it to the highlights. You can see it right there, which is good for the stairs. Let's take the reds bring them all down, and you can see what it's bringing down there. Because it wouldn't be red, it would be bluer at night. And let's take the greens. Well, we'll go through the whole gamut. The yellows, it's not going to show yellow at night. It's going to be more like this. Less yellows. It's mostly blue. The greens, and I'm not sure what the greens will do, but we go all the way up, bring it all the way down, and that's going to be the plants mostly. So at night, once again, the plants are not going to be prominent, so we're going to bring those down too. Go to the cayennes. We purposely go to the top and see what it is. It's over on the left, middle left. It's the poles there. And at night, we're not going to be showing too much blue, so we bring those down too. Once again, the blues, we accentuated the blues and the magentas, and we'll pop it up all the way and see what's magenta there. Bring that down. It's not going to be showing, once again, very much at night. And there we go. And now next what we want to do is give an overall bluer tone to everything. So we're going to add a layer. Let's choose a nice dark blue right around there. And we're going to fill in that layer. And now we're just going to play around with the opacity, and it's going to be very subtle. We're just giving a little bit of a blue hue to everything. That's good, but now what we have to do is get rid of the blue where we don't want it, which is up in the sky. So we're going to have to retrace. Okay, now what I want to do is delete that part of the blue by using the polygon tool and retracing everything again. And I hit delete, and it deletes it on top of the sky area. And we like that. Now we're going to take our blue, go back to 15%, 15, and there we go. Now I'm just going to have to take it off in between here. So I can toggle it on, off, on, off, on. Okay, finally, second to finally, is there's some hot spots here. And we want to darken this because there would naturally not be that much color here. So I'm going to add yet another layer. And I'm going to grab pure black. And let's go ahead and fill in the whole frame. Then we lessen the amount so we can see what we're working with in the background. And with this one, we can take a slightly bigger eraser. I can do like a 20 point. It doesn't have to be quite as exact. And I should, because it's a little bit bright from what it should be. And just bring that down to here. Bring that across here, and then we can take a nice big fat 75 point, because the stairs are already dark, we don't need them, so we're erasing the part that's already dark. We're just mostly getting the wall. Okay, what did we just do? We can't see it. If I make it really harsh, 100% opacity, now I can see what I've done, and now I know what I need to trace out and get rid of everything else. Just in case I didn't know and wanted to see it really plain sight, I can make a nice white layer, and now I take the tracer, I call it, the polygon tool, and just trace my lines here. And what we're doing is we're getting rid of the black layer that I just drew on the parts that we don't want it. And we can turn off our white layer so we can see what we have. This is kind of called, this is like a matte, like matte paintings that they used to do for films. Now we lessen the matte or the layer to whatever we want. Okay, here's at 0. I'm bringing it up in little points at a time, and you can see it would be, if it was nighttime, it would be like that, and the stairs would be even darker. But because we're faking it here, we have to exaggerate a little bit to the bright side. So that's completed with nothing. Let's add a little bit. And finally, we got a pole. Bring the pole back, and of course we haven't done anything to it, so it looks like it's way out of context here. I'm going to bring the brightness down, and actually that's not too bad. My guess is that the contrast is making it look really sharp. No, we're going to need the contrast because it darkens where we need it to be darkened. But everything is a little bit on the sharp side. So this is before, after, before, after. I'm going to filter, blur, and Gaussian. If I exaggerate it, we'll see where it's at here. And we just want to add a little bit just to make it a little bit duller. That's 0.9. Let's change that to 0.5 because I like round numbers. This is the before and after. It's so subtle because that light shouldn't be that bright, that sharp, especially at night. And we'll hit OK. Let's zoom out and look at the picture. That's looking pretty good. Finally, let's add some light in here. You probably wouldn't see the bulb. You probably wouldn't see any of this. So what if we just add glowing edges? And let's go ahead and try that and see what happens. I'm going to add a new layer. And let's grab a brush. It should be very subtle, from white to just a little bit, almost white. So let's try it here and see how that looks. That sharp. A light source would be kind of fuzzy. See, even I make lots of mistakes while I'm doing this. And this probably doesn't even have to be that perfect. I'm just going to draw it in. It's probably better if it has a little bit of mistakes in it. It's really subtle. And then I'll do this one here. Let's go 20 point because that's a lot smaller. Oops. Go to this one here. And then go to the top one, the left one. So that it's a little bit brighter on the inside. Bring these back and see that? See what it does? Gives a little bit more realistic view. Finally, let's maybe add a little bit of reflections of these lights along here. All right, so let's go ahead and, grab a yellow color. Let's go ahead and look at where it's at. Let's bring a little bit wider, just a tad. I'm going to grab a big brush and a soft brush. So I'm going to grab one here that's 200%, 100, and do like this little fake circle of reflection with a little line going across there. Okay, so let's say we like that. Let's get rid of it where it wouldn't be showing, which is going to be because this is on this side of the wall, so you should not be seeing it over there. So let's get rid of, with a 50 point brush, anything that's along here, and then somehow do some sort of dissolve here. where the light would shine down here, but not along here. 150. Let's get rid of what we didn't need for sure. And watch, we get rid of that there, so we got it along the top edge. And it's a little hot. It's at 32%. Let's exaggerate it. And let's make it less. And we're going to bring it all the way down and bring it up just a tad. And that kind of gives us a little bit of a sheen. I like round numbers. Let's make it 15 points. And on, off, on, off. Okay, that's good. Last but least, we want to get rid of the right around the lamp, because a light would be, you'd see the rays further beyond the light. So let's try this at a 750 brush right around here, and boom. See that? It gives us a nice ring around the light. Now we do 550 to make it even sharper, closer to the light. Boom. And one at 250. We like that. And finally, we'll take that reflection. It's at 15 point. Let's bring it down to 10%. And there it is. We can go before, and after. And I think we got us a bona fide picture here, if I can zoom out. There we go. This is our end product, and this is Rich Tamayo with tutorials for Elements, calling it quits, and over and out. Bye.